Hi everyone and welcome back. I'm standing in the cab of the B6 and I wanted to take this video and talk about all the work we've done in the cab. Now I know last week we had a video kind of going over where we're at with the ash pans and everything, and I had originally shot video of the cab floor, but I felt the video was a little long and I wanted to take a good bit of time and talk about where we're at with the floors and what kind of work was involved with getting them done. So right now the firing deck is new and the engineer and the fireman's side cab floor is new. We worked pretty hard to get them out and put them back in, and I'm going to talk a little bit kind of how I got them out and how I put them in. So this here is the main area that the fireman would have stood on to shovel coal into the firebox, which is right here. There are the doors for it. This area on the engine, the floor was really warped and rotten from all the years of being in service. Now, if you look very closely, you can see that there's like texture on the top of the floor. That's called diamond plate. And the purpose of that was to allow you to still have a grip even if the decking was wet. That was the purpose of that. Now, there's angle that needed replaced, and also all the holes for the injector piping are cut and ready to go. Now, once I run the lines for the injectors back down, those holes will be there. They might have to be enlarged a little bit, but you can see all the bolts on the floor are what's holding it down. Now, going over here quick. So this is the floor that for the fireman's side. Now you can see there's angle here that we had to replace. And this angle is what actually holds the cab down on the locomotive. So right now, the only thing that's actually holding the cab onto the engine is this grab iron that's holding the cab down to the frame below. So we got really lucky that even with the cab in the condition it was in, we were still able to remove the angle and not have the cab kind of collapse in on itself. So that was really nice. You can see right here is the drill we've been using to drill all the holes. Right here is where the injector valves are going to come through. And right here, this is where a water hose would have been that the fireman or hostler could have used to use water to help move the ashes down further into the ash pan to dump them. So there would have been a little hose that came up and around. It would have grabbed water from the tender, and they would have opened a valve, and they would have had water down at the bottom, so they didn't have to get a hose from a standpipe or anything. So this is the fireman's side. I can also kind of get a good picture of what the cab looks like. So the cab's actually going to get new jacketing here pretty soon too. Most of the time the railroads didn't want, for a number of reasons, they wanted the boiler to look better. Also, they used it as an insulation to keep the heat in the boiler, so that you wouldn't have been able to see these rivets here. There would have been a nice jacketing that covered it, and we will replace that. This is the engineer's side. There's a little bit more to the engineer's side. There's additional bolts that we had to put on, and that's for actually the air brake components. So the air brake components come through, the lines for them come through this hole in the floor. Now what I did was I took the old floor out and I traced it and I marked all the bolt holes and cut it before I put it back in. So that's why these were able to fit in pretty nicely. So this is the engineer's side. I wanted to show everybody. So right here, our machinist did a really good job of kind of interlacing the angles together. You can see how he cut, how the angle's actually like an L shape. And sometimes we have to get really creative with making the new components to make them fit. So that's how that came out. So another area that I've been working on, and you might remember this from the last video, I talked about this piece that I replaced on the other side of the cab. Now I welded both sides, so this is what this looks like inside. But the important thing is right here, I replaced this whole section of the cab. You can see my weld goes all the way up to the top. That section was rotted out. I'll put a picture online or on the video of what it looked like. I still have the old one because I used that as my template. But what happened was, why that rotted out, if you look up here, you can see there's an angle right here that holds this part of the cab to the roof, And what happens is water got behind it and it rotted that whole piece away. So that is brand new on this side as well. Here's what the other side of that patch looks like. I'm going to end up grinding down the weld so you won't be able to see it, which is kind of the point. All my repairs, I don't want anybody to see. So for the rest of today, I have the patch for the cab roof in. You can see it right up at the top. I have some welds there, but this is the progress that we've made on the cab roof. It's coming along really, really nicely. So the last update I wanted to give on where the cab roof is I wanted to show everybody this piece. You might have seen this hanging around in a couple shots of the video before. This is the support that's going to go underneath the cab that's going to join the two parts of the roof together. I'm going to show everybody when I install this kind of what that looks like. But that is all I wanted to show everybody with the flooring and everything. I know it's a little bit of a shorter video, but thank you for joining me. And I also wanted to say, look out for a new style video I'm making where it's going to kind of be me talking over a video where you follow me and we're putting that patch in. I've been filming the last couple days of just kind of like me going through the process of doing it, and I'll have after editing, I'll add audio to it, and it's going to be a little different, but I think it's going to give everybody a little bit kind of like a follow me kind of point of view video that's a little different. I can talk a little bit more technical about the stuff I'm doing afterwards because it's easier for me to record the audio later than it is for me to think of things on the fly like I usually do. So thank you, everybody. Look forward to videos in the future. I'm heading to Altoona this weekend, so there will be some 1361 videos coming, and we're excited to share those with everybody. So thank you, and have a good one.